So being that we're outcasted, the Lord is going to fix that. He's going to bring us back to the land. Because not only are we in the land of the north, which is North America, predominantly that's where all the tribes are at, but we're all around the earth too. Okay? But he's going to call the chief men, meaning the elect, because we're the prepared rulers to be in the next one. If you can, who would you got? Give me Jeremiah 16. Jeremiah 16 verse 4. So that's why he said the chief of all men.
Oh.
I'm not sure. Jeremiah 16 for they shall die.
It's verse 14. Yeah.
Jeremiah 16 and 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, Yahawah, Yahawashi, that it shall no more be said that the Lord Yahawah, Yahawashi liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
Yeah, out of the land of Egypt. Now, is this talking about ancient Egypt? No. Because during the time of Jeremiah, he came hundreds of years after Egypt. So what Egypt is he talking about? Because we know that the prophecies are not dealing with, are not going back with the prophecies are events that are going to happen forward into the future. You understand? So he's got to be talking about another kingdom likened unto Egypt, and that would be America today. Which, according to the book of Revelation, the 11th chapter, that tells us that we will be in the kingdom that's known as Sodom and Egypt. And it was through America why sodomy has been highly promoted and has influenced the minds of the people to accept. Now, 30 years ago even, we don't even have to go back too far ago, a lot of people didn't agree with that kind of lifestyle. Now people have begun to agree with it and accept it now. You understand? And it all stemmed through America. And I believe it was the beginning of probably like 2008 or 2009. That's when he started pushing that started to be heavy. And it's been going heavy for 12 years. Go on, brother.
Jeremiah 16 and 15. But the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
Yeah, so that's what's going to be recorded. And what's going to be poured into our minds is that we're going to remember. Instead of remembering what happened to us in ancient Egypt, we're going to remember the salvation that occurred in America and all of the lands we were scattered abroad in. Because that's going to be more miraculous than any other salvation that occurred in Israel. Okay? That's why it says what it says. Go on, brother.
From the land of the north, and from all the lands whither thou hast driven them.
Come on.
And I will bring them again unto their land.
And I will bring them again back into their land. So as I like to say, if those people are the Jews, they should be fitting this prophecy. They should be scattered abroad. They should be put under a curse. They shouldn't be running every single thing. Because you can't be the oppressed people, but then you're the oppressor. How does that work? The oppressor cannot be the oppressed. It's either one or the other, man.
Can I chime in?
Go on.
As it says in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So if the earth is given into your hand, how could you be poor? If the whole earth is given into your hand.
Exactly.
You know? That's a contradiction right there.
Exactly. So that's it just makes sense, man. Like Esau can't be everything. They try to be everything, but they're not everything, man. They try to equate themselves with the Hamites, try to equate themselves with the Egyptians, and the list goes on, man. But now the truth is coming out that they are not all of these people that they want to be. No, it don't work like that. Go on, brother. They're the Edomites, and you know what too? It's funny because Esau, they'll play every nation and proclaim themselves as every nation. But they don't want to claim Edomite. They don't want to claim Esau. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how that is done, isn't it? Go on, bro. Read that.
Let's go to verse 15. But the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi liveth, and brought up the children of Israel from the land of north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
Which is the land of Israel. And that's where the kingdom is going to start. Now the kingdom is not going to just be based in Israel, it's going to be all around the planet. Because we're going to have lands and all of that stuff. We're going to have ownership of different parts of the planet. So the kingdom is going to be all around the planet. And the kingdom is not going to just be a kingdom for all nations, as the Christians would have you believe. No, it's going to be our kingdom, the kingdom of Yahawah. Which makes sense because when you check out every other society, who was slaves under those societies? We were. So it would be fair for us to get our own peace. We can't just be slaves and that's the end all be all. No, we have to be the rulers now. Like the scripture says, chance happened to all. So all of these nations at one time had a chance to another to rule. Okay? Now we're going to get that chance. Like what the Lord really did, he saved the best for last. Yeah, we went through the most hell, and yeah, we were under these nations or what have you, but that was due because of our disobedience. And this is why we're here in the first place. This is why we went on cargo slave ships. We were lynched. We were brutalized as a people, basically. Why? Because the iniquities of our fathers. And still to this very day, our people are still going on. Under the guise of Black Lives Matter, they want changes, right? They're never going to get the change because they themselves don't want to change who they are. It starts with you. The change starts with you. It don't start with some other person. You have to exemplify the change, and then people will give you the change you want. But it really starts with the Lord. What's your relationship between you and your power? Once you got a good relationship between you and your power, then now we're talking change in the future, because it's going to take him to change all things. Not some old silly little group of people sitting up in cards and protesting, man. That ain't going to change a damn thing. Trust me. The Martin Luther King protests proved that point, that nothing's changed. If the Martin Luther King protests changed something, then these niggas wouldn't be protesting today. I'm assured of that. All right? Changes start right here. Go on, brother. Be down.
Now this is Isaiah 2. This is a precept that cuts the Jews being in the land.
Yeah.
The false Jews. Isaiah 2 and 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's, Yahawah's house, shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Yeah.
And he shall be exalted above all the hills.
And they should be exalted above all the hills. And you could kind of say that they are exalted to a certain degree, because they run it all. But when we get into the power seat, people are going to love us. People are not going to have this hatred towards us. Why? Because we're going to govern the earth in righteousness, in the right setting. They're governing the earth in a wicked setting, and this is why people don't like them. You understand? So you could be in power, you could have all manner of technology to govern the people, but if people don't like you, if people have this inner hatred towards you, then you can't really call it true power. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When we get the spiritual power and we start building the kingdom, we're gonna be rough with these nations. We're gonna kick their ass and everything. That's gonna happen. We just gonna keep it all the way thorough. But when it's all said and done, these nations, they gonna love us, man. They're gonna like us. They're not gonna wanna aim to the top and then try and take our position. They're gonna be cool with their position. As long as they're getting their just due, hey, they're all right. And you know what I noticed with most people? Most people don't want to be rich and live a high stability lifestyle. They just want the basics. They want their family and they want their house, and they just want to be able to take care of themselves. And they got it going on. Now, a few of us want a lot of shit, the big things. But that's just a few of us. But most people, they just want the basics, man.
And that's
Life.
That's how life's supposed to be. Life ain't supposed to be life ain't supposed to be a strain. Life's supposed to be simple. It ain't supposed to be complicated. You know what I mean? You have to fight to wake up. You fight to sleep. Fight to maintain. Everything's a fight in this kingdom.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
That's it, man. That's it. Hey, brother, you got something to say?
It was in Isaiah 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above all the hills, and all the nations shall flow unto it. And
that's the point from where the curses get taken off of us.
Yeah.
See, the Lord's house shall be exalted above the hills. Okay? So that's, when you go to Deuteronomy 28, it speaks about thou shalt be the tail and they shall be the head. They shall lend unto thee.
Yeah.
And what does it say? It says thou shall basically borrow from me.
Yeah.
Roughly paraphrasing.
They're going to be the lender, we're going to be the borrower.
Right. So, the scriptures talk about the Lord is esteemed the turning of things upside down as the potter's clay. So it's like, it's just like a turning of upside down. everything in this society is upside down. Okay? Everything is upside down. Everything is outside the natural ordinance of the Most High God, man. Okay? So nothing makes sense. Even the average person is complaining, is not content, okay, with what's going on and everything like that. But in our kingdom, the scriptures talk about basically there's going to be a right side up. Everything is going to make sense. Okay? Which means there's going to be no confusion, there's not going to be no argumentation, there's going to be nothing to complain about, really. There's literally going to be nothing to complain about.
Yep. Because everything is just going to be in complete, total order. As it says in the, I believe it's in Matthew, the 6th chapter.
Oh, that's the spirit. I was thinking about it, the prayer.
The prayer.
So shall it be, so as it is in the heaven, so shall it be upon earth.
Exactly. Right. Because what's going on in the spiritual realm? It's complete order.
Yeah.
So, this planet here, the physical realm is going to reflect what's going up in heaven. That's how it's going to be. And this is why, as the brother just said, these nations are not, no one's going to have anything to complain about because everybody's going to be in their right position, doing as they want to do, as they're supposed to do. But in this society, everything's fucked up. Everything's pretty much flipped upside down. That's what's going on. And this is why you have people complaining and talking about this, talking about the issues. Because this world is not right, man. It's not upright. This world doesn't have an upright spirit on it. Right. And plus the people that's on top, they're not keeping the laws and the commandments that they're supposed to keep. So this is why you have all of this confusion. Like for example, you have laws on how to deal with the landmass. You have laws on how to deal with people, etc., etc. This is the manuscript to the planet. So if you're not keeping this, then you're going to get a whole lot of confusion. Go on, brother. You
Where was I? I was in Isaiah 2:3. And many people shall go and say, come ye, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord Yahawah, to the house of the power of Jacob.
Right, and that's what all of these nations are going to do. You think the nations are doing that now? You name me one nation by the whole that's going to go to Israel and learn of the laws and the commandments. They're not going to learn anything because the people are not keeping the laws and the commandments. So we know that that's not talking about them. We know that that's not talking about them. That's talking about us. When the real Jews return back to the land, that's why it says that there should be no war heard in the cities. It gets into it.
To the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law.
That's why it says, out of Zion shall go forth the law. So when we rule this world, which is going to be the kingdom of heaven, we're going to rule the people by the laws and the commandments. It's not going to be do as thou wilt spirit. You just do what you want to do. You know, if you believe in this, then we'll allow that. There's not going to be no democracy where you just do what you want. Everything is going to be under the order of the Lord. The Lord created these commandments for mankind to walk that way. So these are the commandments that the people are going to be governed by. Like I said, it ain't going to be one guy saying he's a Muslim and another guy saying he's a Christian and this and that and the third. That creates a whole bowl of confusion, man. You understand? Everybody's going to be under the doctrine of Yahawashi, the Most High, and his son. Go on, brother.
And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Because we are the Jerusalem. The so-called blacks, so-called Latinos, Native Americans, we are the Jerusalem that the Bible talks about. We're not no black people, West Indians, people of the Caribbean islands, African Americans, but that ain't us, man. That's the names that our slave masters gave us. Okay? The Lord gave us a name, and that name is Israel, which means he is the prince of the power. Okay? There's no compliment being called black. Black is a negative term. Void of light. And when you look up the hue color, and I always bring this out, when you look at the hue color as black, it's an insult. What you're going to get? 0%. So what they're basically saying is that you don't exist, you're nothing. Right. You're nobody. You understand what I'm saying? So that name is going to be out. We don't even call ourselves that. We call ourselves the Israelites, who we really are. Yeah. Go on, brother.
Verse 4.
Because if you look at our people, we're different shades of brown. This brother's a lighter shade of brown. This brother is a little bit of a darker shade of brown. I'm a shade of brown. His brother's a shade of brown. Ain't nobody black over here.
Yeah.
So they cast that term on our people so that our people would then be X'd out pretty much. You don't exist. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, because I've seen within the law enforcement, police, centurions and all that, say 5 people commit a crime, you got, say, 2 black guys and 3 the white, so-called white guys. If you have to put a description, 2 black guys, 3 white guys, in their calculation, in their own minds, the Edomites, their mind, it's 2 criminals that we want. They didn't hear anything about no white guys, because that dark, that black, then black, they was black, they look like this, and it's in their mind. They got all the black people that's on the streets, they're all associated with evil. They got to be all locked up.
Exactly.
It's in their mind.
You know, and even when you say the term black, it don't sound good, man. Black. Even if you say it nice, it don't really sound good. But when you say white, it sounds soft and delicate.
Right.
So there's, so there's like, you have your different tones, your vibrations and stuff like that. When you speak about something. So it was an insult. And the reason why they call us that, because the powers that be, they know who the hell we are.
Right.
They know that we're the sons and daughters of Zion. We're the children of Israel. So to do away with that truth, let's just call them black. They don't exist. They call themselves white to hide their wickedness. Because they're not really white, they're actually red, different shades of red. Hence is why in the Bible they're known as the Edomites. The real nationality of the so-called white race are Edomites. Now let's briefly read about the Edomites. Let's get Genesis 25, and then also get me Malachi, the 1st chapter. Because what's happened is they've done away with the truth, man, and no one really knows who they are. This is why people are doing as they may. Because they don't know who they are. Go on, brother.
Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord, the prophet, for his wife, because she was barren.
Right.
And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her.
Yeah.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Right.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Right, 2 nations are in thy womb. Go on.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated.
Right, so even though they were brothers, they're going to be separated. Why? Because one's going to have a righteous spirit in them, and the other one's going to have a contrary spirit to that righteous spirit. Go on, brother, read that.
And 2 people shall be separated from thy bowels, and 1 people shall be stronger than the other people.
Yeah.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the elder shall serve the younger. So now what we're going to do, we're going to move forward, and we're going to read who came out first.
Alright, jump straight to it. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
Right, so he was red on like a hairy garment. Now it doesn't say that he was, because some people get it misconstrued, and they're assuming, oh, the baby came out hairy. No, he was red like a hairy garment, because back in the ancient world, they used to dye animal hair and stuff like that. So he was red. It came out red. So when you watch those hospital shows on TV, and you see a Caucasian baby that's being born, what color is it? It's red. That's why he was known as Esau. They called his name Esau, which means
Ashashua.
Right, Ashashua, the pronunciation, Ashashua, which means wasted away is he, which means he had no pigmentation. Now, it doesn't describe how Jacob came out, because Jacob looked like every other man with pigmentation. That's how you're supposed to, that's the normal look. Go on, brother.
And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
Yeah,
and they
so
called
he
his
was
name
red all over. So he had what you call it, clean. He was clean leopard. Because there's different kind of leprosies. You have the unclean leprosy, and you have the clean leprosy where it covers the body. So you can shake that hand and you won't catch nothing. Go on, brother.
and they called his name Esau. And after this came out his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Right.
And his name was called Jacob.
And his name was called Jacob. So that's our great-great-grandfather, Jacob. Go on.
And Isaac was 80 years old, and she bare him. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter,
Yep.
a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, meaning he was just to himself. Now, when you look up that word plain, the word plain in the Hebrew is tamam, which means perfect. So Jacob was an upright, perfect man. He was well set. He didn't need anything. But Esau means something else, meaning he was wasted away. And the reason why Esau came out that way, because really that's the spirit of Cain coming back. Why? Because Cain killed his brother, Abel. And I believe through the spirit, Abel was Jacob.
Right.
So that mark was left on him. Like when you read the book of Genesis, the 4th chapter, if you don't mind, where it talks about Abel, and it says that a mark was on him. Now it doesn't say that he suffered with leprosy, but through the spirit, that's what we were taught to believe, and we believe that. Okay, because you got certain brothers that's from that's from Africa, and they could talk about that, how if you're a leprous, hey, you're gonna have to go somewhere because they might try to kill you, because that was the way on how they that's how it was in the ancient world.
So Genesis chapter 4 verse 13. And Cain said unto Yahawah, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
Yeah.
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. And from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And Yahawah said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
And that's the point. So there was a mark that the Most High placed upon him. And as we believe, that mark is leprosy. So this is why when he came back as Esau, he came with that same mark. To signify what? That he is the murderer. That's why it says in the book of John 8, verse 44,
Ye of your father the devil,
and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. Who was he talking about? Who was John talking about? John was talking about Cain, which really Cain is Esau. Alright? So that's where the so-called white people descend from. They descend from a man by the name of Esau.
Yeah, and that's heavy because you notice with the Rothschilds, there's
Exactly.
Rothschilds, they can walk about and
Yep.
nobody, they're committing all these murders,
Yep.
and nobody's touching them.
Yep.
So that kind of goes back to that mark on Cain, that nobody would touch him. So the elites, they're not getting touched. All these murderers, and you wonder why they can just walk up and down London.
Yeah.
Because they're being protected. They got that hedge
Yep.
over them.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
And really what it is too, if you want to go a little bit deeper, it's really because they got them dark spirits rocking with them.
Yeah.
They got them
Yeah.
demons rocking with them. So when you got them heavy demons rocking with you,
Yeah.
hey, you could go anywhere in the world. You could commit any crime in the world, and you can get off scot-free. And they can do that. A Rothschild, a member of the Rothschild family, they can go and kill someone in sight and get off scot-free. Why? Because they're not under the
Legislation or any law.
the judicial system. They control the judicial system.
Sovereign.
They're over the law. So you got certain people walking around that are over the law.
Right.
They can sodomize a child right in front of you and get away. The police won't do nothing about it because the police serve them. Hey man, there's certain men out here that can do these things, man. And even if they got kids, and their kids go to school and their kids stab somebody up in the school, they're not gonna get arrested. Because again, they're what you call the ruling class family. They run things. That's just how it is.
It says, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And over there it says, thou art small among the heathen and great in despised.
Yeah.
It goes the same thing. Like
Yeah.
he's driven out from the face, like he's hated in the earth, and he's driven out from the face because the face of everybody is against Esau, isn't it?
Yep.
So that's the same thing, you know. He
Yes,
said
yep.
that anybody that will try to slay him, meaning Esau is a wanted man.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
he's a wanted man.
He's on the
That's why
run.
I say he's a fugitive. He's trying to escape justice.
Yep.
You know, so you know.
Yeah. That's how it goes, man.
So you got certain people saying that they want to arrest Trump.
Oh yeah.
They want to get him arrested and shit. You know, and all these things is coming out about Esau, man. All the crimes, all the filth that he's been doing.
And the pedophilia is astronomical, man.
Yeah.
All kind of nastiness that he's doing, man.
Yeah.
He's being out there. His nakedness is being shown, man, to the world.
Yeah.
And he's being hated for it.
Yep.
You know, so much so to the point that if you speak out against him, he'll block your account.
Yep.
Or delete your account, your YouTube accounts. You know what I'm saying? He's got to try and protect himself.
Go on.
Okay. That's right, man.
Yep. And speaking about what the brother's saying, man, like I was talking about
that.
how you got a lot of people, man, that have, and I'm talking about amongst these Edomites.
Yeah.
They're saying that they've been abused and
Yeah.
this and that and the third. And you got a lot of pedophile cases, man. There's a lot of pedophiles amongst Esau.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of things are coming out, man. And then you got this piece of gig situation. There's a lot of shit going on, man. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that a lot of people really don't want to do it, because if they would have do it up front, it would hurt them. Because reality, man, is it's heavy. If you don't have the heart to do it, reality, you're gonna break down. And that's why most people, if possible, try to blind away reality. You understand? Because it's like I was even talking to this brother about it, on how, you know, we've all grown up to believe that people love children and they cherish the lives of children. But when you really think about it, is that really true? Because a lot of adults, you know what I'm saying, like when they were kids, they talk about things that they've experienced growing up and everything like that, and it's a horror story. Everybody's got some kind of bad story. So is it true that people genuinely like kids? You understand what I'm saying? And that's what reality does. Like when you step into the room of reality, hey man, like it's heavy, man. It's heavy. It is definitely heavy, man. So, but when you're into this truth, the Most High kind of has a shield on you, to where you can see every single thing in this real world and not really get too much, you know, emotionally disturbed, so to speak.
Right.
Either one, you got someone now?
Well, this is Obadiah 1 verse 1.
Come.
The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom.
Come.
We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen.
If you could break it down too, brother.
Right, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle.
Come.
Okay, right, because you got nations around the world that they want to get at America, man. Because modern day America is modern day Edom is America. Excuse me. Okay, it says, arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Okay, so what are they using nowadays in battle? They're using nuclear missiles, man. Because the scriptures talk about how America shall be like Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so they got nuclear weapon technology, man. Okay, so that's how these other nations are gonna rise up against America. All right. So behold, I have made thee small among the heathen; thou art greatly despised. So again, that just goes back to Cain, when it says, "Thou art driven out from the face of the earth. Anybody that will seek to kill you shall be repaid 7 times over," something like that. So this is verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So another attribute of Esau is his pride, man. Okay, and his pride has deceived thee, because you would have thought that America would have been an ongoing kingdom, man. But America's only been in the works for like 100 years, man. Not even long. And the way America's going on like it was the everlasting kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying? The streets paved with gold and the American dream. You know, all these great major cities like Miami and Hollywood and all these great Los Angeles, you know what I'm saying, New York, the buzzing city, Chicago and Seattle, all these great cities, man. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't even been going on for that long. People have been living luxuriously in these cities, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, obviously, Esau for the most part, people that have had money. You know, Jake has been pretty much in the ghettos in these areas, man. You know what I'm saying? Suffering the curses. But Esau has been benefiting from all of this, all his blessing. Okay? So his pride has deceived him. You know, all these what do you call them? These, what do you call them? Presidents, man.
Right, yeah.
For America. Yep. They all blew America up to be this great land that everybody could come to and prosper from, man. And look what's happened to it now. There's every city in America is a war zone.
Yep.
Okay. So ever since this COVID-19 situation, and we all know that's a hoax, man. we should all know that's some bullshit, man. Okay? You got people that are deceived walking around with face masks because they genuinely believe the fabricated nonsense of this devil, man. Esau's deceived the whole world, man. Okay? So people literally believe there's a virus, and obviously this virus caused what we know as a lockdown. And a lockdown stopped people from having to go to work. No work. If people are not going to work, that means money's not being pumped in back into the economy, which means the economy is losing a lot of money. The economy's going back on itself. You know what I'm saying? There's all kind of articles saying that the economy's lost a lot of money, man. You know what I'm trying to say? A lot of businesses have closed down, shut down. A lot of people have become, thousands, millions of people become unemployed. They're on benefits. There's food shortages. So it's his pride has deceived him. Because in reality, look what the Mosai is doing to it now. The Mosai is getting ready to put the final plague on America, which is that nuclear destruction. So what good was all that pride? That pride deceived him.
And just
that's why you got to be careful of pride, because pride can smoke screen you, man, for what's really going on around you, man. You know, it's always good to stay a humble, down to earth, man. Because when you're down to earth, you have fear. When you fear, you're able to consider things, but you're able to consider what's going on around you. When you're gassed up in your pride, you don't want to hear what's going on because you're confident. You fully believe that everything's going to be fine, okay. You know, peaches and cream. And then before you know it, a nuclear missile's coming down at you, and you wonder where did this come from?
That's right. That's right.
The scriptures talk about pride, man. Pride is all brothers need to check this up. That's Esau's characteristic. Pride, man. That's Esau's thing. You know what I mean? Esau's gassed himself up. And not even the average Edomite doesn't want to believe that they're out, that they're done.
Yeah.
That's a suicide thing, man.
Right.
That's something that will make them want to commit suicide. You know what I mean? Esau the average Edomite does not want to consider that, man. That'll make them go crazy.
And if I could chime in just a little bit, like you was talking about the economy and everything like that, even your mom and pop stores, they're going out of business too. Them little business, those little business shops and everything, they're all going out because of these gigantic corporate companies that are being affected. How much more these little ones? And what you have a lot of these restaurants that are actually liquidating all of their assets.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good.
No, yes, you know what I'm saying? People talk about this. We're basically in the midst of a Great Depression.
Yeah.
A Great Depression where people, you go over to the States, man, there's food shortages, man. You know, people are starting to line up outside these stores, man, for food and shit like that. There's a lot of things going on. There's war zones, crime is escalating crazy. Okay, people are starting to show their true colors now. These militias coming out of the woodworks. You know what I mean? Esau's starting to ventilate on Jake.
Yeah.
So it says, the pride of thine heart deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. So who dwellest in the clefts of the rock? What does it say in Job? The 30th chapter.
Yeah, go and get it, man.
Clefts of the rock, man. This man who Job would have disdained had set the dogs of his flock. The basest of men.